I have got 15 tactics for you, and if you know all of them, your chess IQ is higher than any average chess player. So let's find out whether you are just a simple chess player or an excellent chess player. Tactics are the heartbeat of chess. They turn equal position into instant victories and quiet games into chows. So watch each tactic carefully because next time you sit at the board, one of these 15 tactics might be your instant ticket to the victory. Here is how we are going to go. I'll mention the tactical idea first. We'll explain how it works. Then I will show you some example of the tactic. And then later in the video, I will reveal on how to master these tactics. So stay tuned and don't miss the secret. Let's begin. Let's check out this tactic. F4 is a tactic where a single piece attacks two or more enemy pieces at the same time. Knights are especially famous for forks, but any piece, including pawn, bishops, rooks, queen, or even the king, can deliver fork. Let's understand fork with some practical example. In this position, white has to make a move. If you observe carefully, white knight is eyeing at c7 square. If knight captures at c7, it gives check and attack on rook simultaneously. This is knight fork. I hope by now you have understood what is a fork and you can find the forking move for black. Can you find it? If your answer is queen b4 check, where queen attacks on the king and the bishop simultaneously, then you are right. You have understood what is a fork. Let's check out this tactic. Pin is a tactic where one piece is attacked and cannot move without exposing a more valuable piece or the king behind it. There are two main types of pins: absolute pin and relative pin. Absolute pin. The pinned piece cannot move at all because doing so would expose the king to the check. Like in below example, the knight cannot move because white bishop has pinned the knight. Next is relative pin. The pinned piece can move, but doing so would lose a more valuable piece behind it. For example, in below image, knight is pinned by bishop, but knight can move from its square. But while doing so, queen will be lost. Let's check out some useful queens which can be used in normal openings. e4, e5, nf3, nc6, bc4, knight f6, nc3, bishop c5, d3, castling, bishop g5, pinning the knight, d6, knight d5. The knight on f6 square is now under attack by bishop and knight, and once it is captured, queen cannot capture back. After bishop takes knight, it has to be captured with pawn and black's castle is busted. Let's check out example. See this position. Black's last move is c5. White moves queen a3, where this pawn is pinned. It is not free to capture the d4 pawn because queen will be hanging. Couple of moves later, rook c8. White played bishop b5. Black want to kick out this bishop, so he plays a6. But again, black cannot capture this bishop because rook is hanging. Let's check out this tactic. A skewer is opposite of a pin. In a skewer, a more valuable piece like the king or queen is attacked. Moves away, a less valuable piece behind it will be captured. It's like forcing the big fish to swim away, only to catch the small fish behind. Let's go to practical example of skewer. For position 1, white to play. Best move for white here is bishop b3, attacking on queen and the rook. Black needs to save the queen. Queen goes to a8. White captures the rook. So black could save the queen but lost the rook for the bishop. Let's check out this tactic. A discovered attack. A discovered attack happens when one piece moves out of the way, uncovering an attack by another piece behind it. If that uncovered attack is a check, it becomes a discovered check. And when the moving piece itself also gives check, it's the devastating double check. Let's move to some practical examples. If you are white here, can you plan a discovered attack in this position? If you need, pause the video and analyze the position. If your move is rook c1, then you are on right track. White's plan is simple. Move knight from c5 and attack on queen. But if white plays it directly, then black has a counter play with queen coming on a5, checking the white king. So black is not worried right now. He plays a6 to avoid checks from queen. White plays queen d2. Black plays e takes d4, and here comes a discovered attack. Knight goes to d5 and rook is eyeing on the queen. Queen goes to d8. But here there is one more tactics that can be applied and white can gain a piece. I hope you can easily find it. Yes, it's knight c7 check, queen e7 and rook takes e8 and knight takes rook. This one is very interesting example. Black's last move is d5. Here white plays e takes d5 on e5 square. White has only one defender and black has two attackers, and black without thinking very deeply, so black captures the d5 pawn. White captures knight takes d5 and black without thinking deeply simply captures the knight and celebrating the victory over peace. But what he completely forgets is bishop takes h7 check is a discovery sacrifice because king takes bishop, queen takes d5 and black lost the queen for knight and bishop. Next tactics, an X-ray attack. An X-ray attack happens when one piece attacks through another piece, either an enemy or even your own piece, targeting something behind it. The front piece may look safe, but the real danger lies hidden, just like an X-ray machine that sees beyond the surface. Let us see practical example. In this position, white has a chance to mate if bishop is able to give a check from g7. So queen takes g7, bishop takes g7 is force, and bishop takes g7 is mate. Here white bishop actually create an attack through this black bishop. This is what is called as an X-ray attack. In this example, black can actually give a checkmate if black could attack through this rook. A beautiful move here is rook e1 check. Rook takes rook is force. In rook takes e1 is checkmate. So black has actually managed to attack through this rook like an X-ray. Now we will see medium complexity tactic. First one is overloading. Overloading or the overworked piece happens when one piece is given too many defensive tasks at the same time. Since it cannot fulfill all of them, the attacker takes advantage by sacrificing and forcing a move that makes one of the defensive collapse. Let's check out some simple example of overload. If you observe black's position, pawn on d6 is supporting this knight and this bishop. If either bishop or knight is attacked, then pawn will only be able to defend single piece. Like here, if bishop takes knight, pawn takes bishop, rook can simply capture the bishop. Let's go to example number 2. In this position, white has to make move. If you see, bishop is already attacking on this diagonal, knight is covering this square. If white is able to give a check by capturing pawn on c6, then white can checkmate black king. But this pawn on c6 is already supported by rook. White has a very stunning move here, that is rook d8. This rook on c8 has a responsibility to safeguard the back rank and the pawn on c6, and it is overloaded with its responsibilities. Here, if black plays rook takes d8, then queen takes c6 is met. If black tries to support the rook by queen f5, then again queen c6 is met because this rook is pinned. Next tactic is removing the defender. Removing the defender is a tactic where you eliminate the piece that is protecting a crucial square, piece or king. Once the defender is gone, the opponent's position collapses because the target becomes completely vulnerable. I will show you one of the idea to be used with these tactics. Let's see a small game. e4, c5, d4, cd4, c3, d takes c3, knight takes c3, d6, bishop c4, nc6, nf3, nf6, e5, knight takes e5, knight takes e5, pawn takes e5. In this position, queen is attacking the black queen, but it is defended by black king. Here, knight takes f7 check. Black king has no option and it has to take king takes f7. And black queen is hanging. Queen takes d8. You will be able to use these tactics in so many game of yours. Observe this position carefully. Are you able to find a mating net from white? If you could see rook d8 check, then you are on right track. But here the obstacle is the knight on d7. White can simply sacrifice his queen by checking from b8 square. Queen b8 check, knight takes b8 is compulsory, and rook d8 checkmate. Next tactic is interference. It is also known as blocking lines. Interference happens when you deliberately place one of your pieces in between the opponent's attacking and defending pieces, cutting off their connection. In chess, this often disconnects defender from its duty, allowing you to attack with devastating effect. Let's go to example. In this position, white has a winning move, knight takes c7, because d file is totally covered by queen, but c7 square is defended by queen. In this situation, move like bishop b6, interfering the path from queen to c7, is simply winning because pawn takes b6 will lead to mate by knight c7, or else queen takes b6 will be followed by knight takes b6, c takes b6, and white is having more material and can produce a win here. Next tactic is trapping a piece. A trap occurs when an opponent's piece looks active and threatening, but suddenly it finds itself with no safe square to escape. It's like a predator stepping into a cage and realizing the door has been locked. Trapping a piece is a very important tactics. You can win a material heavily, or you can also lose if fall for these tactics. Let's check out this example. In this example, this is very practical position can come into many games. There is a free pawn on a2, but if bishop takes a2, white will simply play b3 and bishop will get trapped. With further moves from rack like knight bd7, white can simply move his king to b2 and then easily capture bishop in next moves. In this example, we will see how white smartly trapped black's queen. From this position, white started attacking bishop g5, queen went to f5, white again attacked bishop d3. Greedy queen went to g4 square, eyeing at g2 pawn. White gently moved pawn on h3. Greedy black captured pawn on g2. Can you find a winning move here? Rook h2 is a winning move because black queen has no other place to escape now. Next tactic is clearance sacrifice. Is when you deliberately sacrifice a piece, clear a square, rank, file, or diagonal so that another piece can immediately take advantage of the newly opened line. It's like removing an obstacle so that the hidden power of your position can be unleashed. Let's check out practical example. Here, black knight can fork white king and queen, but its place is not free. So, black plays a forcing move, knight takes c3, check. White cannot capture rook by king, so b takes c3, knight e3 check, forking king and queen. In this example, rook cleared its place to allow knight to fork king and queen. Hence, this is a clearance sacrifice. Let's check one more beautiful example. Black plays rook takes b7. Black plays rook takes b2. Threatening made by rook takes a2. Knight takes b2 is force. Queen b1 check. King cannot capture queen because it is supported with the bishop. So rook takes queen. Knight c2 checkmate. If we check the starting position, the square c2 was needed to be cleared to give a checkmate, and rook cleared its place to allow knight c2 check. Let's move to more advanced tactics. Is decoy. A decoy is tactics where you decoy an opponent's piece, often the king or queen, to a square where it becomes vulnerable. The idea is to force the opponent's piece to a square where it can be attacked or captured. It is also called deflection, where you divert a defending piece away from its key duty, leaving another piece or square unprotected. Go to real examples of decoy. In this position, black has a stunning move. Bishop takes a2, king takes a2, rook takes c1. Next one is perpetual checks. It is an escape resource. Perpetual check is a defensive resource where a player forces continuous checks on opponent's king. Since the king cannot escape without getting checked again, the game ends in a draw by repetition. It's often used when a player is losing but finds a way to force repeated checks to survive. Now we will see a real example of perpetual checks. If you see this position, white is having better position and black is almost on verge of losing this game. Here perpetual checks comes as a savior tactics. Black plays queen e1 check, king is forced to go to h2, queen takes h4 check, king is forced to go to g1, queen e1 check, king h2, queen h4 check, king g1, queen e1 check, king h2, queen h4 check. By giving a continuous check and repeating a position, this game will end in draw. So instead of losing game, black is managed to draw here. Next one is desperado. A desperado tactic occurs when a piece is expected to be captured anyway, but instead of waiting to be taken, it launches one final attack, capturing enemy material or creating complications before it falls. It's like a soldier knowing he cannot escape the battlefield, so he inflicts maximum damage before going down. Let's go to practical example of desperado. In this position, black knight is trapped on e4 and has no place to go. So knight decides to do maximum possible damage to white king. Knight goes, knight takes f2, king takes f2, a discovered check. King goes f1, d takes c2, knight is recovered, queen takes c2. Next is smothered mate. Smothered mate is a checkmate delivered by a knight where the opposing king is completely surrounded by its own pieces, leaving no escape square. The knight, being only piece that can jump, slips in and ends the game in a dazzling fashion. To understand smothered mate, let's walk through killer trap from Italian opening. Game goes e4, e5, and f3, and c6, bishop c4. A surprising move, knight d4, leaving poison pawn at e5, knight takes e5, queen g4, allowing white to give fork at f7, knight takes f7, queen takes g2, attacking on the rook. Rook f1 is forced, queen takes e4 check, bishop e2, and a final hit, knight f3 checkmate. The last tactic for today is backrank mate. The backrank mate occurs when a king is trapped on the last rank, first or eighth, by its own pawns, leaving no escape square. A rook or queen can then deliver checkmate along that rank. Let's see a simple example of backrank mate. White plays rook takes d5, ignoring a mating threat. Rook f1 check. Only possible move is rook d1, but it cannot save the mate. Black plays rook takes d1 mate. White king is surrounded by its own pawns and have no place to go. Each tactic you learn today isn't just a trick, it's a mindset. So watch this video again if you missed anything, because every replay makes you sharper and deadlier on the board. Before summing it up, I'll keep my promise to give you a secret trick on how to master the tactics. Here is my 7-day plan. On day 1, just learn the concept, watch 1 or 2 videos so that you will visually understand. Visuals help us to remember the concept, so watching videos will help you. On day 2, solve 10 basic puzzles. Day 3, solve 10 intermediate puzzles. On day 4, analyze top level Grandmasters games. Try to identify featuring the tactics. On day 5, practice real games, may it be online blitz or rapid games, but try to apply the tactic that you learn. On day 6, review your games, understand when you miss the tactics. On day 7, try to reflect what you have done in first 6 days. Note down your learnings and make your own strategy or trick to remember and apply tactic in your game. I hope this plan will help you. I'm sure you have enjoyed this video on the tactics. Drop me a comment with your favorite tactic and tell me which one helps you most. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.